All right, so I think this is going to be probably our real first attempt at a mock draft, although we still have some football left to go. The Patriots are essentially set in concrete now, being fourth overall after dropping from the first with their win over the Bills. I know some of the media is attempting to downplay the importance of that because they just don't want to talk about draft. Now, it's either you don't know, you don't want to talk, because, you have to basically know roughly 1,000 different prospects to really have a comprehensive view of the draft. Now, I'm not saying like everybody needs to be in depth. Obviously, you're going to take a really hard look, watch some games, take some names around. You come up with like a few hundred, you can say you can understand it, like how good the draft is. But to understand, like, I guess, real long-term strategy of how you're going to handle the draft, yeah, you should probably have a few more than that. And I understand, like, your media, they're going to want to sit here and talk about, I hate to say more gossipy things, like, for example, like Ben Johnson versus Vrabel and Mayo and who does what and all that stuff. Whereas, like, the draft, you actually have to know details. You can't open up your mouth and really not know what you're talking about and start naming players or the value of certain picks and all that. And they'll probably say, yeah, I know enough. But here's the thing. When? How? Right? Do you know the guys that have already came back and decided to go back to school? Right? Do you know how good this draft was about a month ago and now it's been thinned out? Do you know how good it is compared to previous years? Do you understand the law of supply and demand? Do you understand the valuation for the first round pick to drop from the first to fourth? Which, if you're using the Jimmy Johnson, the loss of like the first to fourth is almost equivalent to like a top 15-ish pick. I think it's like 12th or 14th or something like that. So essentially another first-round pick. So by you dropping 3, you've lost the value of another first-round pick. Now that makes sense because if you are the fourth and you want to move up to the first, you're going to at least give up another first-rounder like 2026 plus some more, right? Even in a bad draft class, that's probably what was going to require. They're going to maybe get another first-rounder out of it, and then maybe a second or third this year or something like that. And there's obviously examples of much richer valuations. And they'll say, oh, that's just crapshoot anyway, blah, blah, blah. And they might be able to give you a couple examples of like why loser organizations trade up. Well, yeah, loser organizations might trade up, but the ones that are trading back ended up cashing in, right? And I'm going to point out the obvious one, which is the Texans. Look what they were able to pull off. Their offense and defense became great overnight. They got blue chip talents both, right? It's not, so you can't, you can, of course, say there's times where that hasn't been successful, but we're just talking about laws of probability, just statistics. If you have more bullets in the chamber, it's going to help you out. You're more likely to get a hit. Oy. And all for a loss of a game, or winning a game. And I'm not going to sit here and say like it was great that they it was bad that they lost the game or won the game. No. Yes, there's the idea that you're building loser mentality and all that stuff if you try to go. Guess what? Coaching staff is probably going to almost all entirely be gone. So you don't have to worry about the coaching staff carrying that stigma around. They're gone. They're going to be gone. I'm not saying that they're all going to be, but there's some that are just going to leave on their own. Some are going to be fired. Front office, they don't have to be. They're the ones that are going to be benefiting from having more draft capital. And I'll get to that in a second. And I'm sorry going on for a rant here. Now, you want to talk, loser mentality in terms of what? The players? You have a new coach coming in. You might see half that roster get turned over by either just not re-signing people, releasing them, trading them. Right? Think about this. Like, what loser mentality? Now, you could say on the franchise. You just were basically the worst team in the NFL, and you're one of the worst teams last year. You're in decline already. What? You've already established it. You've made now. How you hit the reset button is you start winning. How you win? Get good players. Get a good coaching staff that knows how to work with the guys. They're trying to do that, and it would have been better if you had a first pick overall, to maybe either take exactly who you want because you have a bad feeling that you're not going to get the guy you want. You just take them, No one's going to hate you for that. Now, of course, everybody's going to probably want you to get that extra first-round pick and extra draft capital this year. Of course. Right? Because we'll talk about that later on. Not only does it go in the first round, but you got the second round, third round, subsequent rounds after that. By the way, that drop from like 33, well, I think it's different, but that 3-spot drop is worth like another third-round pick. So if you're the Patriots and you're sitting there and you're in the top half of the second round, right? And you're looking and you're like, oh man, there's a few guys that dropped out of the first round. They're first-round talents, right? There's a big run on like wide receivers or tackles or something like that. People are getting overdrafted, and then all of a sudden we get something like, well, let's say like a Jerzon Newton or a Cooper DeJean or a McConkey or a McKinstry, right? Guys that were like first-round grades that fell out because there was a run on tackles and wide receivers last year, right? Now, I'm not saying the Patriots' decision to take a wide receiver is wrong. Maybe the wrong wide receiver, but point is that there was a few guys in that first 5-10 picks in the second round that were first-round talents, and teams traded up for them, and it cost them. Now, the Patriots, in order to maybe go up, and they're like, oh no, there's been a run on tackles or wide receivers or whatever, they're going edge, and they're like, we better go get our guy. It's going to cost you probably that third-rounder this year. So instead of having an extra third-rounder, plus whatever you probably could have got from a trade back, now you're going to be one less thing to go get exactly what you needed. And again, I'm not blaming a team for winning. It's just like, I guess my point is that when you listen to somebody downplaying the importance of it, it's important. Because also consider this. The Patriots have been attempting to acquire free agents with big time money, and they're not coming here. So if you can't get free agents, there's two other options. Either develop from within, which we don't know what they're going to be able to do going forward. It's either develop those guys that you have, and hopefully it gets better, or you have to draft really well. And I just said before, it's great to have good at drafting and you have good draft position, but you want as much ammo as possible. Because also, not only do you want to have just so you can get one that hits, but then also you don't want to bring up the average quality, the average grade of your team. Top end, top 100, top 50 picks. Anyway, sorry for that rant. But I just like got me going already. It's like when you hear people just trying to downplay it, it almost always tells me when someone starts doing that, don't know it and they don't want to talk about it. Because when you start talking about specific players, and if you start having like emotional, like not able to like back it up with like actual facts, it's brutal. And it's expensive. It requires you to go look at like hundreds of draft prospects. Anyway, let's get into it. I'm sorry. All right, let's see what we got. So Tennessee, Cleveland, Giants, Jacksonville, Las Vegas, and then the Jets. So it's possible the first three are quarterbacks. I'm kind of thinking maybe the Giants go with JJ, depending on how much it would cost them from the Vikings. I could see the Vikings wanting to come up and maybe actually grab Travis Hunter. They could also be some guy looking at Mason Graham. I guess there's... But, yeah, that would make sense. They could use some help in corner, and they can also use some insurance just in case Jefferson or, what's his face? A couple seasons ago. I can't remember his name. But, yeah, so, I could see them possibly taking Travis Hunter if they wanted to come up to get him at the third. Tennessee could even take Travis Hunter. Depends on what they think of Will Levis, which, I don't think anybody's really, really high on, but they might be doing what the Patriots might thought of, which is, hey, move back a little bit, pick up another one next year. They need help several spots. Any team that's in the top three could do exactly what the Patriots wanted to do, which is trade back. And then that's the problem, which is, hey, now you got potential of Travis Hunter or Carter, Will Campbell, somebody, Ted McMillan being picked off that you wanted. They would, regardless if the Patriots don't move, right? They stick where they are. They'll have a shot at a blue chipper that should be a needle mover. Either it be Mason Graham, Abdul Carter, Will Campbell. Obviously, Ted McMillan's thrown in there as well, and Travis Hunter. So that's the upside is that you're at 4. You should still have a shot. Oh, Jason Milrow. That's an interesting one to throw in there. We'll see. We'll see if there's enough hype for him to make a JJ or a Bo Nix climb. So that leaves them with Travis Hunter or going with Abdul Carter. Let's do one with the Travis Hunter pick. And that would alleviate the need for getting a corner at some point in the top 100. And obviously also slightly, pressing need to get a wide receiver. So in this guy, I like Emeka Buka, but I say Emeka, it's Emeka. But here's the thing. I said this in my last video. If you gave me the chance to trade back to 4 and you got an extra second round pick in the top, again would be here. If you had a shot to get, you get Abdul Carter, and then with one extra second round here, and then your 38, you would have had a shot at getting Emeka and J.D. Barron. Both those guys, because he's a wide receiver and a corner. I think these two guys, him as a wide receiver and him as a corner, is comparable, if not better, as Travis Hunter. So you get two of them. I'd rather have two players rather than just one. And again, that's not me hating on Travis Hunter. Oh, brutal. You say what? Like, people are so thin that you say one thing that's not even even a knock. It's just reality. Like, who doesn't want two players instead of one that can do the just in case he gets hurt? You've lost two of them now. You've lost two positions because of one injury. And he's been injured every single college season. He's not built to take hits excessively. Look at Tank Dell. Look at Zay Flowers. That can happen to anybody, but some of these are that's too far for me. So we could go with Gray Zabel, and that could be a guard / Jordan Birch is probably a better pick here because he can play some edge and D-line. Winston's also very, if he's still around, he's one to consider too. TJ Sanders is solid. I think I kind of have to go, considering we might be done with Barmore. I don't know that, but you have somebody who has reoccurring blood clots. It's usually a condition. It's not a one-off situation. Oh, good thing I did that because my next guy was Ty Robinson. I could see Dallas got him. So that was probably a smart move considering how the board is ending up. And I could still get TJ Sanders or Zabel. I think I'm going to go with Zabel because he can play left and right and he can play some guard. And they think he might be one of the best center prospects. So I am going to go Zabel. All right, so offensive line, defensive line, still going to need probably more a dynamic edge later on if they're still around. So we'll see if there's one at 105, 143. What does that put on us now? Probably a different type of wide receiver, big X receiver. Not going Cam Scatabo. Not here, at least. Jalen Royals is interesting. He's basically what you want Tyquan Thornton to be. Jack Betch has been moving up. Davidson. You know what we should probably look at is where is Arande? Where do they have him going? At 139? Where's Eli? Eli's down at 2. All right. So you know what? I don't want to chance it because no one else here really moves like him except maybe Elijah, but even Elijah's not really exactly like Arande. I'm going to go with Arande here. By the way, he declared. So now he got a big slot / also can play big X receiver. He does play snaps out there. Again, I know he's got the TE next to his name, but that's where they designate him at Syracuse. He plays a lot of snaps. One spot for 2 picks. I might have to just do that, even though it's not going to help us out anything. I thought I had 2 picks here. Oh, here we go. Nope. It's tempting, but maybe not. Oh, actually, you know what? Let me take a look. Safety, yeah. Let's take a look at safeties. I'm realizing we didn't make a move on them. I'm not a big Ramsey guy, but I've watched enough to say that that's a steal at 143. Kenny Gallup's finally getting some. They moved him up. He was like in the 300-400s. They finally moved him up. Interior offensive line. Seth McLaughlin. I would, if you can get him in the 200s, I mean, we're taking a chance that his Achilles is ready to go. Luke is good. Jaden Roberts is obviously pretty solid. Ooh. Jonah that late would be good. Is there anybody they have listed at... Oh, yeah, they do have Xavier Truss. Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. All right, so Xavier Truss, interesting, can play... Has played, I think, all... Yeah, he's played 4. He's played both guards, both tackles. And this John Williams, I have yet to do anything on him, but John Williams looks great as a potential interior offensive lineman. But Jonah's good. Marcus Ware. Clay Webham's still obviously really big on. Jackson Slater, Thomas Perry. Lots of good interior offensive linemen that might go undrafted. I doubt it, but the guys I'm pointing out, I doubt. Like Luke Kendra is definitely not. And Jonah. Well, I started making that, and it's like, yeah, well, what about these other guys? Like Connor Colby's pretty good, too. I haven't watched him as much as I should, I guess. All right, next. So where are we at? We're stuck. Yeah, never mind. We're not stuck. All right, so now what else? We have to do... We need some speed edge. So looking for a linebacker that's got some pass rush. That Schweiziger is pretty good too. David Bailey might still be around. We need a running back, too. Could also take a slot corner. Upton Stout is definitely that. Let's take a look at edge. Oh, David Bailey's gone. David Walker could do it. He's a freak athlete. A little short in the arms. Same thing with Jasheen Davis. Not that he's short arms, but he's very fast. So Edge really got ripped out. Open's pretty good, too. I'm not sure if he's coming out, though. All right, so I'm going to go... I think I might have to go with David. Came on Rucker. I don't know. I can't say enough that like I'm out on him, but... All right, let's see what we got. Is there anything that's probably going to go off the board before? We have to take a look at where Truss is. So if I go Walker, Truss, and then what? Probably another wide receiver. Let's take a look at wide receivers real quick. Ricky White. Ja'Cory Brooks, Nick Nash. Still lots of decent wide receivers left. LeJonte Wester finally coming up out of the 400s. See, like LeJonte Wester... Again, I know this is not... Again, are you ready? This is not a knock on Travis Hunter. So if you're really, really upset about this, I just want to put... LeJonte Wester only had like, I think 10 or 15 less receptions for like 100 or like around 200 something less yards and like 1 or 2 more, or no, 3 less touchdowns than Travis Hunter. Do you want me to say that again? It's not like, it's like Travis Hunter had good numbers, but so did the other wide receivers. And just so you know, like they only had like, their best rusher only had like 300 something yards in the whole entire season. They threw the ball. So like Travis Hunter's numbers are great. That's good. But like they threw the ball all the time. Just stat pad. You're throwing the ball when they should have ran the ball when they had the lead, but they just kept throwing it to boost numbers. They lost games because they didn't run out the clock. That's not like me being negative or hateful. All right, maybe, yeah. That's not a bad idea. Actually, where's our boys? He's still in there. There's Cody. But Tyreem's actually pretty good, too. So what I'll do is we'll go detail. So we have it now, right? Or do we not? I forgot what it was. David. Or no, it's trust first, right? No. Oh, that's right. We're going David Walker, Truss, and for guard, maybe probably should have went after a running back, I guess. But let's take a look right now, actually, see what we got. Brashard Smith, the speedster, Taj Brooks. Plenty of guys right now that I would have drafted probably even last year. That Donovan Edwards. Bentley's pretty good too. Terry Brown's pretty good. Penny Boone I like as much. Jalen White's actually probably a guy we should keep an eye on. Marcus Carroll, that's another decent running back. Micah Bernard. So there's still some guys you would want to bring in. By the way, the name that probably has been used, brought up as much as Sony Ento from Monmouth. Go watch that guy run. You want a big back with like some grit? Yeah. That guy's a beast. So, oh yeah, we're going to look at linebacker sitch. Tyreem. That's a big thumper though. But, you got David Walker. Speedster. You need somebody who can do a little more coverage. Yeah. Yeah, I'll go with Cody Lindenberg. I know they're going to give me a terrible grade on it, but not my best, and probably is just out of my flow. We'll try it again. I think probably starting next week, I'll start trying going back to PFF, see if they've cleaned themselves up. Maybe try something else. But I'm starting to, this one, for the most part, their board is getting better. That's for sure. That's actually not too bad for how much I mean, you're getting a lot out of it. None of them I really want, though. Maybe if this was a first and maybe a third here and then plus these. I don't know. Not enough to move off. So this time I'm actually going to go with Abdul. Did I just see someone drafted McCord? Nah, that's not. Yikes. Give me Wyatt. Damn. Missed out on Wyatt. And that just shows you, where did Wyatt go? Where did he go? A few ahead of us? Now you're going to miss out? No. I mean, we could take Amika, which is probably the smart one here. Now it's 69. You're going to have to probably take your best offensive lineman, regardless if it's left, right tackle, or guard. It's just reality. So let's see what we got for O-tackle. Oh, Belton's still there. I could take Gray Zabel. That's pretty smart, I think. That's actually a great move. Taking Zabel. Also, keep in mind you have Charles Grant, who I could probably take at 105, maybe at 77 if we needed. I know, again, I'm going to keep pointing this out. I know that they have him here as an interior offensive lineman. He might start out there, but his build is like totally tackle. So, all right, anyway, let's stick to this. I think I might... Ooh, getting Hairston's probably a bigger, smarter move here. That's tricky. So, Yep. He's a needle mover. He's a really good. And we still got Zabel. All right, so I'll do that. And then at 105, I'll either go with Ty Robinson if he's still there. I think I just saw Gadsden go off the board. Yep. Be really nice to have an extra third rounder to secure somebody we wanted. Do I go with Belton too? That'd be a left and right tackle taken care of? I think so. Now that I'm not going to probably go after... Yeah, because then here's the thing. Like Belton does actually turn into a solid left tackle after a year. Zabel can play multiple positions on the line. So even if he's maybe you're just your swing tackle or he's your backup at left and right tackle or left and right guard, whatever, he can, again, they're looking at him as potentially as a center as well. Yeah. Yep. All right. So far, so good. Kind of again proving to me, like, Hairston is not that far off as a corner as Travis Hunter. Is Travis Hunter better especially in terms of ball skills? Yeah. Oh, we still have Ty Robinson. We are doing great. Beautiful. Not only like good players, but guys I've actually covered. What's the one I haven't covered here? I haven't done my Mika or Hairston yet. Okay. But no, man. Gabe Akis. By the way, Gabe Akis, I just saw him for Edge. He is returning. Oh. David Bailey. That was the one I was kind of hoping he'd still be there later on. So tight end, I'd probably go with Mitchell Evans here if I can. Let's plan this one out. Yeah, Mitchell Evans is not. Yeah, that's probably the one to go with. And I'm not sure if he actually is going to come out. D tackles, there's plenty of them that we can go after. I'm still a big fan of. Davin Van's in there too. Yeah, Black's pretty good. And then Thor Griffith, of course. Andre Jefferson, he's pretty good. Probably don't know him because he's from Lenore Rhine, which isn't that yeah, that's Duggar's spot, right? Yeah. Tom, because Joshua Farmer, I don't know. Is he coming out? I think he might have to. But he's got potential. He needs some help. Kind of reminds me of Farms, though, which, I'm good with Farms. But so we got 3 spots. Safety-wise, we can maybe go with Kenny Gallup. Safety with Kenny here, if he's still there. Don't need an edge or a linebacker with Abdul as a pressing need right now. Safety, so Kenny Gallup. Still need a running back potential and tight end. So the tight end I think is more pressing right now because I think I'd rather have... Yeah, I'm more of a Mitchell Evans guy. That's a good spot. Okay, then now that's going to put us with running back or Gallup. Safeties haven't moved. Garrett's pretty good. He can play a lot of spots in the line. Decent amount of corners still left here. All right, let's think this over again. I'm sorry. OTs. We got our tackles done. We don't necessarily have to go after an interior offensive lineman. D-tackle. Got an edge. Okay. Running back and safety are probably the last 2 to go here. So let's take a look at running back. Kyle Monangai is pretty good. I don't know what to say about Phil Maffa. I have to watch more on him. Marcus Yarn is climbing. Another guy who's climbing up the board. It's like they're paying attention. He's really dynamic. Marcus Yarns. He's a smaller dude, but man, is he fast and shifty. Definitely on my list for like a UDFA. And if he gets drafted, good for him. He might be just because of how unique he is as a running back. Super fast, but to me, like Raheem Sanders or Monangai could be. And Taj Brooks, this whole grouping here is solid. Hunter's good too. I don't have enough, though. I haven't watched him enough to say anything about him. And I'm not going to say he's bad. That's for sure. Someone thinks he's good. Nick Martin's interesting. Very good coverage linebacker. Lots of speed. Picking up another corner is tempting too. So I'm going to go with, I think I want to go with Kyle the way he moves. And that's going to leave us to hopefully have a shot at Kenny Gallup Jr. Yes. Don't know much. Bud Clark is pretty good. I'll say that. I don't know much about Craig Woodson. Other safeties, maybe. Is Kenyatta Watson on here, or did he decide to go back? Yeah, he's better than 4'11". Definitely. Especially just on upside potential. All right, so I'm going to grab Kenny Gallup. That's a good one. So I guess the take home is that what's interesting is moving back the 4, from 1 to 4 doesn't really mess up that much in terms of your ability to really go after who you want. Now, in that 38 spot, yeah, definitely. 38 is probably going to move us away from, having a shot at a solid. Or would they be at 38? Yeah, so, yeah, they're going to have yeah, that's the problem. It's going to mess up their shot to get somebody legitimate. Coming out of the first round now. Mika making it out of the first round, you're probably sitting there, it's not going to happen. I don't know. I don't know that. Emeka making it out of the first round or any one of the tackles, it's going to be based upon whatever the run is. Last year, there's a bunch of guys that you would say, there's no way they're making it out of the first round. There's a bunch of guys, like top 10 people, like Kool-Aid McKinstry, Jerzon Newton, and Cooper DeJean were all considered top 10 picks. And they made it down that far because so many teams went after a tackle or a wide receiver, and they made their way down. So it could happen again this year. Now, when you think about it, there wasn't a lot of really great corners last year in general. And there wasn't a lot of great edge rushers. Now, if teams they have certain flavors they want of edge rusher, or even the safeties are another one. There's a lot of decent, I don't want to say a lot. There's a few decent safeties, or there's a couple good tight ends. And all of a sudden you start throwing in 2 tight ends, 3 safeties, 1 or 2 running backs that are typically not like really thought about in the first round. Then, yeah, you might find a Mika making it out of there, or a Cam Williams, or a Wyatt Milam, or something like that. Some guy that probably should be in the top, draft because of the value in their position. But if the board starts to go in a certain way, there's a run on whatever that position, you might find some of these guys actually making their way out. And that's why, yes, the big move from 1 to 4 doesn't have too much of a we're missing out on a particular prospect. But it's a value loss. It's a major value loss for trade. But the big opportunity of missing out on who you might want is definitely in that second round, because you're just going to be somebody in that comes out of the first, and you're just going to have to hold your breath, or you're going to probably have to end up using one of these third rounders, which if you look at them, yeah, we could definitely use both these guys to get up, to move up just 3 or 4 spots. Yeah, or you're paying maybe the 4th and maybe something next year. Regardless, it's going to be costly. So, all right, so I guess the take home here is that you could still pick up a pretty decent draft, right? I would take all these guys. I would be very happy if they got in the draft. And then, but at the same time, you're still the opportunity lost of maybe having a first round draft pick next year and then maybe an extra second or third. We could have picked up a solid safety. Could have picked up another interior offensive lineman or another D tackle or second edge player. I mean, there's like just about anything. Another wide receiver, linebacker. Yeah. Could have used probably another 2 picks here. Anyway, I'll leave it there. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If there's anything I missed, if you're mad about me saying things and talking for a little bit, for those who are like big Travis Hunter fans, or I'm sorry if you're for some reason aggravated with me not picking him the second time, I'm sorry. Let me know, by the way, if, again, besides like PFF, if there's any other ones that you guys think in terms of mock draft simulators I should try. I've messed around with some of them. They're really bloated. Let me know, and I'll try it. All right. If you guys like this content, please like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.